This down further with Laurence Kotlikoff, who is ranked one of the world's 25 most influential economists. Laurence, good to have you on the programme. So this ruling, it wipes out that 10% base rate on most countries, along with the higher tariffs that we saw Donald Trump, the US impose on countries like China and the EU. For you, is the US looking at a very costly rebate now?
I expect so. And I think the fact that the market went up suggests that his plan B, the market doesn't believe plan B will occur. I mean, if everybody thought, well, they have this ruling, it's kind of just symbolic, but fundamentally he'll be able to do with the left hand what he was doing with the right hand, the market would not have moved. But the fact that the market did move is indicative that people don't believe that there is a plan B that will be effective.
Well, the market might not believe that there is an effective plan B, but we know that this won't be the end of it for Donald Trump. So what levers does he have?
Well, I don't know that he can impose, punitive tariffs on Canada when he gets upset with the Canadians putting up some ad or some provincial governor making some statement. I think that game's kind of played out. And I think in general, this is showing that there's a limit to his, half the country, I believe, this is my sense, it's no statistic, I think half the country believes we have a fascist regime. It's not Hitler in 1933, but that there are, creeping fascism here with taking over the press, with kind of silencing academics, with trying to take over the Federal Reserve, with limiting basic research, and so I think that this is basically the Supreme Court saying, you are not a dictator, you are a president, and there's three power centers here, the Congress, the Supreme Court, and you are not all powerful, and you're not going to become all powerful, and we're going to stop you. Now, if he defies the Supreme Court, now we'll have a constitutional crisis, and that's a whole different world. But I haven't seen him as erratic and in many ways irrational as I believe him to be. I haven't seen him defy courts up to this point, at least not the Supreme Court. So I think he's going to have to live within constraints that he does not want. And he can call people names. He can threaten the Supreme Court. I'm sure his followers are sending death threats already. But I think the Supreme Court should be given a lot of credit for acting bravely, because this is a personal liability for them. They could be attacked personally. Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Roberts, these are the people that step forward. These are the profiles encouraged from today. And this may be a path back for our country from what people really are fearing, which is an end of democracy. When you have the president saying he's going to take over Greenland, when he's going to, do whatever he wants, he's all powerful, and he's going to, stop elections, free elections, intimating that. That's fascism 101.
So do you feel that those 50% of Americans who obviously don't support, as you were saying, Donald Trump, that they will see this move by the Supreme Court in a way of restoring order?
Yes, everybody was waiting for this decision because everybody realized that this was the key decision, not just to send a message about tariffs, because the tariffs have been, set really high and then adjusted back as Trump has realized how idiotic these policies have been. I mean, when it comes to economics, Trump is the moron in chief, and he's surrounded by a set of other morons. He's got no credible economic advisors that are really behind the tariffs. You've got Lutnick, who's in Yiddish we have an expression, nudnik, a nutbag. We have Miller, who's a nutbag. We have other people. no good economist would support this as a way to make America great again. It's making America isolated. It's yeah, he's destroying the economy from the inside out, and uh, as if he's working for the Russian for Putin, as if he's taking orders from Putin. I don't know if he's an asset or an agent, or just thinks this is the right way to go, but it's not.
Yeah.
And just because he
Well,
says
given your
it's
thoughts on him, that in your words, you've called him a moron in chief. Let's come to the rebates then. If the US is forced to give these rebates, will that be seen as justice done, especially for those countries that had these wide-ranging tariffs imposed on them, like China, like the EU? I mean, we're hearing sort of rumblings from these countries now. I mean, the EU is saying that it's sort of, keeping its powder dry for now. But it's more than the tariffs, isn't it? It's because it's about the loss of trade, earnings. Could you also start perhaps envisaging seeing companies perhaps trying to sue the US now for profit loss?
As I understand it, there are just tons of lawsuits already underway. So I think these lawsuits will proceed. It's going to be an enormous expense for our government to defend against these lawsuits, and they'll probably be lost, and the government will have to pay. So all the revenue that was collected, and then the American consumer is seeing this, even though the administration is saying that foreigners are bearing the burden of these tariffs. The Supreme Court just said this is a tax, and studies are showing that these tariffs are impacting prices, and that the American public is bearing the burden of these tariffs. And whether it's not across, the tariffs are significant. They're probably on an order of almost as high as they were in the 1930s. But the point is, they're not being borne by foreigners, or they're hurting the American public. And then I don't see Congress getting a majority of people to say, let's impose these tariffs because Trump says we should, because people are going to realize that they're going to be voting for tax increases, and that's politically very dangerous. Unless
Indeed.
you
Well, I'm
get
sure
both
you could
sides to do it.
definitely. Yeah, well, I'm sure that you could definitely write another book on this. Listen, it was great to get your analysis on this Supreme Court ruling. Laurence Kotlikoff, thank you so much.